What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for joining me on the next episode of In the Pink. And if you are not familiar with what that term means, that was a term coined way back in the 1500s before pink was even a color, and it had to do with wishing someone their optimum health and happiness. So today we're talking about gut health, and we are filling in that blank with cholesterol. But as always, I'm always gonna start out with a what we know. So my first what we know that probiotics and the gut bacteria in our bodies play a role in our cholesterol levels, which in turn plays a role in our heart health. But it also influences inflammation and body weight, which all tie into the same topic. And my next what we know that cholesterol kind of gets a bad rap, but it is essential in our bodies to build cells, to make hormones, and to even produce bile. And of course, we get some cholesterol from our diets, but our body, in fact our liver, also manufactures cholesterol. And my last what we know, especially in this country, that treating and managing cholesterol levels is a big business. In fact, some statistics on statin prescribing. So I'm talking about drugs like Lipitor, which is a atorvastatin, or simvastatin, or pravastatin, all these statins, and the progression of them being used in our country. So back in 2008, about 461 million prescriptions that year. Let's jump ahead to 2019, 818 million prescriptions that year. In fact, it's estimated that half of American men from the ages of 65 to 74 are on a statin for one reason or another. It's kind of a big deal. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the gut's role in all of this. Although probiotics are not commonly associated with cholesterol levels, more and more evidence is showing that yes, there is a definitive relationship. And it's actually believed there's a couple different mechanisms. So the first thing, probiotic strains can actually reduce the amount of cholesterol being absorbed from our dietary foods. Some of these probiotics just take up cholesterol from the surrounding environment, and others have a sticky surface where this cholesterol attaches itself to, which in turn prevents it from being absorbed into the gut. Other probiotic strains just prevent it from being absorbed by converting it into another compound. And this compound is called coprostanol. So it doesn't get absorbed into our bodies, it just gets excreted. All right, the next thing probiotics can do is they can increase the production of bile in the body. And that in turn reduces levels of circulating cholesterol. And this has to do with these probiotics containing an enzyme called bile salt hydrolase. And this bile salt hydrolase breaks down the bile salts in the gut, and then they are excreted. But wait, there's more. And wouldn't you know, cholesterol is required to make more bile salt. So the circulating cholesterol in our body then goes into manufacturing these bile salts that are lost. The next thing that probiotics can do is reduce the production of cholesterol in the liver. And the way they do that is by producing a short-chain fatty acid, propionic acid to be specific. All right, let's look at a couple case in points here. There are studies out there that are directly linking Lactobacillus plantarum to have excellent cholesterol removal ability and bile salt hydrolase activity. So what I'm saying is it's a good thing. In fact, after 3 months of supplementing with this Lactobacillus plantarum, total cholesterol levels were decreased to the tune of 13%, and LDL cholesterol's almost 15%. And interestingly enough, those who started with higher levels of cholesterol in the first place tended to have a greater reduction in those levels. All right, let's move on to another one, Lactobacillus rhamnosus. There have been studies showing very conclusive results in the weight loss thing. Let's move on to another one, Bifidobacterium lactis. Now this one was studied specifically in people that were struggling with metabolic syndrome, and it showed beneficial in the areas of inflammation, body mass index, and total cholesterol. And one more I have to throw out there. This was pretty fascinating. This study was done in Akkermansia. And this study went way into the weeds, but in a nutshell, it was showing that increased levels of Akkermansia reduces the activity of genes that are involved in creating cholesterol in the gut. Basically showing that this Akkermansia forms a relationship with us where we supply it what it needs to live, like the mucus in our gut, not kidding. And it turns around and it helps our body manage cholesterol from the synthesis standpoint. And one more thing, I know I said that was the last one, but one more thing. Another study done with Bacteroides, basically showing that Bacteroides produces cholesterol sulfate. And this cholesterol sulfate is beneficial to our bodies way back from when we're developing infants. Pretty crazy, isn't it? How all of this stuff is tied together. Or is it crazy? All right, let's move on to some healthy practices. What are some things that we can be doing on a daily basis to create a better health picture overall? Well, I'm always going to start with diet. It's a great place to start. We eat every day, so let's eat better. Let's make better choices. So this should go without saying by now. Decrease your processed foods. Decrease your sugar intake. Be eating whole foods. Be eating probiotic foods, meaning fermented foods. Be eating prebiotic foods. I want you eating from every color of the rainbow. When you walk that produce aisle, those deep, rich colors are what should be catching your eye. And the next thing, consider supplementation. We are no longer getting everything that we need from our diet like generations ago. There are nutritional gaps that we need to be filling in, which leads us right into the best part. Let's talk Plexus. Let's talk Plexus and how Plexus can play a role in filling these nutritional gaps. All right, I'm always gonna start with TRIPLEX. TRIPLEX is the gut system that is imperative for overall health. It consists of 3 different things. We are talking the Slim, the pink drink, the cornerstone product for a reason, because it tackles the 3 pillars of our health: inflammation, blood sugar stability, and gut health. And it also just so happens that Akkermansia we talked about earlier, that is a bacteria that is fed by that prebiotic fiber in the Slim microbiome variety. And it just so happens that Lactobacillus plantarum we talked about earlier, that is in the PROBIO 5. The PROBIO 5, which has the 5 strains of good gut bacteria, along with an enzyme blend to break up Candida overgrowth. All right, which leads us to the next one, VITALBIOME. VITALBIOME is a probiotic, a straight probiotic that has got 8 strains of good gut bacteria that go along with the PROBIO 5. It's not a replacement for, it's an addition to. And it just so happens there is more Lactobacillus plantarum in the VITALBIOME. And remember when we pitched that Bifidobacterium lactis, that's one of the strains in this VITALBIOME, which is a good thing. And let's not forget Mega X. We've talked a lot about probiotics, but we have not talked about the nutritional gap portion of this. So yes, Mega X, being a plant-based omega product, is gonna help with managing cholesterol levels. And the last one I wanna talk about today is the X Factor Kids. And when we talked about that Lactobacillus rhamnosus, that is one of the strains in the X Factor Kids. Gut health is not just for adults. X Factor Kids is not only a multivitamin, but it also has probiotics in there. It's a brilliant combination, and it should be in your kids' Christmas stockings this season, whether they know that they want it or not. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you this week. Thanks for hanging with me till the very end. And if you are new to this Plexus train and have no idea what I am talking about, I'm gonna list in that description box my link. Get on there, nose around, ask me some questions. Curiosity will get you on this train every time. I'm also gonna list in that description box some videos I've done in the past that will go over the products that we have also talked about today. And our current playlist in the pink is right here, so if you want to catch a few more episodes, they'll be easy to snag. And you might just want to join me here again next week, because what happens in the gut does not stay in the gut. It affects everything, which is going to lead into many more episodes of In the Pink.